When Amy returned home from yet another long and monotonous day at work, she was hoping for nothing more than a quiet evening alone. However, as she stepped through the front door, a wave of unease washed over her. Something was off. Glancing around, she noticed that all of her belongings had been rearranged. The familiar layout of the furniture had been completely altered. Confusion quickly shifted to anxiety when she made her way towards her bedroom. The door, which was always left ajar, was tightly shut. Panic gripped her heart as she realized the key to her own sanctuary was nowhere to be found. As a sense of dread coursed through her veins, Amy started to piece together the unsettling reality unfolding before her eyes. Days earlier, she had overheard her neighbors whispering about a gruesome murder that had occurred in the building. It seemed that her own apartment had been the crime scene, though she had been completely oblivious to it at the time. The killer was still at large, and the thought sent shivers down Amy's spine. Just as she was about to reach for her phone and dial emergency services, a sound made her freeze. It was the sound of the locked bedroom door creaking open. The hairs on the back of her neck stood upright as she listened to the ominous echo of footsteps approaching from the forbidden room. Amy was trapped. Her heart raced as she frantically searched for an exit, but the commotion sent her thoughts into a frenzy. Without hesitation, she made her way towards a nearby linen closet, not stopping to consider how foolish it might be to hide in there. Moments later, the door to her apartment swung open, and a heavy silence filled the air. The coldness of despair hung thickly as Amy held her breath, praying the intruder wouldn't find her in her makeshift hiding place. Each footstep seemed to echo like a death knell, and she wondered if this would be her final moment. As the minutes crawled by, the intruder's presence gradually faded. Amy ventured out of her hiding spot, the relief washing over her like a soothing balm. Her mind now cleared, she made her way to her phone and began making calls to both the police and her landlord. She needed answers, and she needed them now. It turned out that her landlord had indeed been the victim of a heinous crime, and the police had yet to apprehend the murderous culprit. Fear and suspicion settled heavily upon Amy's heart as she realized that the killer had somehow discovered her connection to the murdered landlord. This revelation sent a chill down her spine, making her question the safety and security of her own home. In the days that followed, paranoia consumed Amy's every thought. She slept with a crowbar beneath her pillow and her phone permanently within reach. Every creak or groan of the old house sent shivers down her spine, forcing her to wonder if the killer was still lurking in the shadows. In the midst of her torment, she realized that she had to take action to protect herself. Summoning her courage, Amy made the decision to leave the comfort of her home, seeking refuge in the safety of a friend's apartment until the murderer was brought to justice. With each step beyond the threshold, she silently vowed to never forget the chilling sound of the footsteps from the locked room and the realization that her life had been forever scarred by a crime she never saw coming.